Okay, so I was on the Twitter, and I was talking to this King Crocoduck guy. This King Crocoduck guy, he's like, Venom Fang X, Kent Hovind, sort of like, debunking the creationists kind of person, sort of the flip side of the coin that he's on, that kind of thing. So I post my article, what the experts actually think about race realism, looking at surveys of population geneticists and psychologists and stuff. And so I'll start with his response to me posting my article. Am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. He says, "You misrepresent the contents of the studies used in this video." Now, I didn't link a video, I linked an article, so obviously he didn't click on, but whatever. "Particularly when creating your figures. Information that contradicted your narrative was quietly omitted, and documenting each example with thorough explanations would take hours." And so I respond saying, mocking him, "Oh, you omitted information in misrepresented studies. What was omitted and misrepresented? It would take too long to explain to you, pea-brain." Meanwhile, he spends 10 hours arguing about this on Twitter, and he spends hundreds of hours making videos debunking Kent Hovind, okay, whatever. And then goes, "It's Monday and I have work. I'm not going to do this right now. A comparison of the first figure in your presentation to the source, paired with a reading of the actual paper, and not just its figures in abstract, to see how the figures were arrived at, is sufficient to indicate that the sly manner in which you hid the data therein made you not have to provide context for what it meant or how it was arrived at, and how that would compromise your narrative had you included all the relevant information." So I'm looking at this. Wow, this guy knows his shit. He was reading the studies. He reads the actual studies, and I don't. Apparently, I just read the abstract and look at the pretty charts. All right, so I was looking at this. Like, well, what is he talking about? So let's take a look. He says the first, what is it? The first figure paired with the reading of the actual paper. Okay, the first figure is usage of high school biology textbooks, morning 2008. All right, so here we have linked morning 2008. So let's click on that. Let's maybe we'll get an idea of what he's talking about. Uh-oh. So now, shame on me. There's a dead link on my article, but this sort of what exactly were you talking about? What is the context that would compromise my narrative, Mr. Crocoduck? Here, I'm looking at this link here. I'm not exactly sure what you found here. What great context that compromised my narrative that you found when reading the first study there. And also looking further up, where you refer to the article that I linked to as a video. So anyway, so what's happening here is Mr. Crocoduck, he's not like reading anything. He's literally just like Redditing, where he just says, you omitted context and you misrepresented studies, where he's literally not even not looking at anything. Maybe he looked at the first chart, but I don't know if he even looked at the first chart because he referred to this article that I linked to him as a video. So it kind of calls into question what the Mr. Crocoduck is even doing here. So yeah, so what I think happens is Mr. Crocoduck doesn't read like studies, or at least he doesn't actually listen to the arguments, at least that I'm making. Right, which also kind of calls into question what he was doing with all the creationism stuff, And what I'm sort of thinking is that with the biblical creationism stuff, he has there's a whole industry of debunking creationists, whereas you get a little kit and they tell you, here's how you debunk all the creationists, and there's little sites where you could just literally just repeat those arguments. That's what Brett Keane did when he first came on YouTube. He was just literally parroting atheist website arguments. Right, and so that's why he sort of got popular initially, and he didn't become unpopular until he started to have to use his brain and make his own arguments. So I mean, maybe that's what Mr. Crocoduck was doing. Maybe Mr. Crocoduck was just literally working through a template of debunking creationists back in the day, and that's why he looked so good. But now that he doesn't get a template and actually has to argue, he's literally just making stuff up. So yeah, if you read the source here, you'll find that you misrepresented and omitted a very, very important context. I can't tell you the context, so that would take too long. Meanwhile, I'm going to spend 10 hours arguing with you on Twitter, but I can't tell you the context in which you cherry picked and omitted and misrepresented. Right. Meanwhile, the actual link on my article happens to be a dead link. Now, obviously, I should, dead link, that's not good. I should try to fix those dead links and find a working source for all the sources. But as it happens here, this was very serendipitous. that the fact that this was a dead link revealed that Mr. Crocoduck is just making shit up. So yeah, King Crocoduck, everyone.